Some urban legends are harmless, others extremely dangerous. Some, however, lead to nothing but catastrophe, and for that reason should never, ever be put to the test. Due to the nature of this urban legend, the specific location will be omitted. There have been too many adventurers risking their lives to prove this legend right or wrong, when the best thing to do would be to avoid it completely. In order to avoid the information getting into the wrong hands, it will simply be omitted. All that can be said is that the house in question is located off of a highway that is no longer in commission, but was visible from the road with nothing else of interest for dozens of miles. Some urban legends are harmless, or at the very least, not as dangerous as this one, because the rituals involved are incredibly time-consuming and sometimes difficult to follow precisely. What makes this legend so dangerous is its simplicity. All you have to do to experience it is go there and spend the night. Far too many individuals have fallen victim to it, and with each victim the spirit obtains, the easier it is for it to make its way to you. The good news is that the spirit is confined to an abandoned house. As long as you stay clear of it, it cannot harm you. At least that's the general consensus. Once it accomplishes its goal, that may no longer be the case. Mediums and demonologists from across the globe have theorized that, to put it shortly, once enough power has been handed to this spirit, it may roam the earth freely. Because this has never happened, nobody can prove this to be true or false. You may be wondering what the goal of this spirit is, and the truth is, it wants what you have. Thousands of years ago, this demon wished to roam the world freely. To this day, it still does. Legend has it that it struck up a deal with a witch, that if it could somehow get a human to surrender something of themselves, the demon would become its new owner. Whether this would be done of the human's free will, or through trickery, or force, does not matter. In the beginning, the demon had no body and had to rely on trickery to get what it wanted. Those traveling with a companion would often be pitted against each other to the point of physical violence. The demon would taunt them and mimic the other's voice to turn one against another and incite violence. It is said this is how the demon obtained nearly half of its outer body, from its left shoulder down to its left foot. Once it was able to move, however limited, it began to rely on physical touch to get what it wanted. It continued collecting body parts until it appeared almost human. It is said that now all it has to do to get what it wants is simply to touch it. It gives a whole new meaning to the phrase, "got your nose." Nobody knows how far the demon has come now. It may look just like an ordinary person nobody would expect to actually be a demon. However, one thing is for sure. It does not have everything at once. For if it did, then it would roam the earth freely and everyone on it would know. About 16 years ago, a website was created that was dedicated to stories of this abandoned house, which is speculated to have been the home of the witch who assisted the demon. There have likely been more visitors to this house, but here is a report of recent events in an updated situation, based on accounts from visitors past. The demon is not very fast, probably because the body it has obtained is not natural for it to control. To make up for lack of speed, it has attempted to make itself larger, and has obtained new arms and legs that have a longer reach. It is said that it has abnormally long, thin fingers to assist in its range as well. Some visitors have been tricked into believing the demon was just another visitor, male in appearance, and no threat was initially perceived upon encountering. Several visitors reported to have been invited to the abandoned house by a long-lost friend or relative. It appears the demon dwelling within is more intelligent than people believe, which is cause for concern. The US military was reportedly tasked with burning the abandoned home to the ground and concealing its existence, but to no avail. If not for the visitor-made website, the Demon House would be one of America's best-kept secrets. The US government was so determined to conceal this dangerous house that an entire highway had been demolished and reconstructed after frequent reports of accidents that led drivers to the nearly abandoned house, where they were never heard from again. The house is now said to be very difficult to find, as the entire highway had moved, and the house is now hidden by corn stalks and protected by barbed wire and military personnel. The lengths the government has gone to keep this location inaccessible speaks volumes for the dangers that its existence possesses. For every believer and seeker of truth out there lies 1,000 skeptics and jokers. The lore and history between the demon and the witch has, on some forums, boiled down to nothing more than a debate over whether the demon would take on a male form or a female form, if it must collect every body part in order to be whole. It's become nothing more than an intersex joke, although several reports previously claimed to have encountered a male figure. There hasn't been as much activity on the website for a few weeks, which has caused concern among believers. However, the website is still online and accessible for anyone to read. There are hundreds of accounts of what had happened with the demon and what parts it has collected to this day. The list, by far and wide, seems complete. There are multiple forums where believers discuss what it could be in search of next, but every body part, ranging from external limb to internal organ, has been accounted for, blood and bones included. One would reasonably think that this means the demon has collected everything it needs and is free to roam the earth now, to possess and kill, to open the gates of hell, to swallow the world in darkness and cause mass madness. But no such thing has happened. Perhaps it really was just a hyped-up urban legend that died out because people lost interest. There are more interesting and important things on the news anyway. For example, alerts on missing children. Right now, there is a report on a missing 16-year-old who reportedly ran away with her boyfriend last week. She had left behind a note for her family, but when speaking to the police, the family could not recall a boyfriend she had brought over. The girl's 8-year-old sister came forward and revealed that her sister's alleged boyfriend was actually a stranger she had been chatting online with. They managed to get into the teen's computer and social media accounts and found the boyfriend, who claims to be living in an abandoned shack about half a mile from the highway. Immediately, the mother knew something was very off with this person her daughter had run away to be with. She commented how he looked unstable, and as offensive as her claim was, that he looked inbred. His features lacked symmetry and different parts of his skin had aged faster than others. When the missing teen's friends were interviewed, they were asked if they were concerned about the boyfriend, as chat logs were revealed and not a single person believed him to be a teenage boy innocently looking for a girlfriend. Her friends admitted they all found him to be a bit creepy, but didn't think anything would happen. The missing teen, too, was well aware of his apparent age and questionable demeanor, but according to friends, had dismissed everything because, as she put it, he was the only one who ever truly accepted her for all of her flaws and birth defects, and still made her feel beautiful. When asked about her birth defects, the girl's mother reported that her daughter had always been self-conscious. When she was born, the doctors were all stunned and said she was the first in generations, and probably the only one currently in existence, to have been born with a tail